So today we will be celebrating the release of, two classic hip hop albums. The first being Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt, back in '96. And yes, we know we totally aware that the album, well, sorry, the anniversary was a few months back, but on my end, something personal came up, so now taking the opportunity, to take a crack at it again. And funny thing is that I actually mentioned it, like actually did a review of it with Ricardo for the 20th anniversary. That was like 5 years ago, right?
Right.
But in this case, though, a figure that paired with the Blueprint, right, which will be turning 2020. Sorry, this
9/11.
September 11th, yeah,
9/11. Yeah.
9/11.
yeah. And we'll talk about that 9/11 date, and well, of course, we know how big of a deal it was,
Oh, the
but
rest of the
let's
world remembers
yeah, yeah,
9/11.
Yeah.
exactly. How the rest of the world remembers it, but how the hip hop community, or I should say the music community, was just like, at least we could take this one album and hold on to this. Like this was a good thing that happened on that fateful day, right? Yeah, so we're gonna do a track by track review, sorry, of both albums, and then at the very end, we're gonna individually see which one we prefer more than the other. So let me just get it out of the way. Both albums are classics. Both get 5 out of 5s. But ever so often, I imagine when it comes to the discussion, which is the better album, yeah, what I mean. You'll bring up this album, The Blueprint, and Reasonable Doubt, right? Maybe somebody might see some other Jay-Z album and like American Gangster or something. I'll get to that in a bit, right?
Ugh.
But yeah, really and truly, it's The Blueprint and The Reasonable Doubt. Those are the two that we have on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
So we will just at the very end kind of see which one we prefer more than the other and why, right? So let's kick things off. Let me just start with Reasonable Doubt, right? So let's kind of kick things off with my introduction to the album, right? So I imagine you've seen it with you, Doe Boi. I found out about this album through the source, right? Because they have
Yeah.
the top 100 albums lists. Yeah, yeah. I used to frequent that as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that well, because this came out, I think like it was. I'm not sure. I think it's either. I'm not sure if it was either 98 or 99. I think it's probably
Well,
98 or
Reasonable Doubt
no,
is
no, no.
96.
No, the list, the
Oh, the
list.
list,
List,
the
yeah,
list came out 98. Die with LL Cool J on the cover, holding
right.
the mics them.
Hmm.
I could remember it well.
Okay, okay, right, right, right. So, yeah, so albums were kind of up to that point now. I think the one album that came out from '97 that was on that list was Life After Death from Notorious B.I.G., right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I found out about this album now. And at the time, like we like for me, right, as a just someone who just listened to rap casually on radio, I was introduced to Jay-Z basically when a certain song called "Can I Get Her" dropped, right? This was from his Volume 2 Hard Knock Life album, and this was also on the Rush Hour soundtrack, right? So for me, this was like my full official introduction to who he was, right? Of course, it was all over Party Flavor by request. That video was just
Yeah.
on heavy rotation, right? So that's how I was introduced him, right? And then Hard Knock Life came and just dominated the airwaves. And then Big Pimpin' came and dominated the airwaves.
Right.
And from there, it was
It's a
just
big Pimpin was a big deal because a lot of it was shot in Trinidad.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And even David Rudder kind of did a song, kind of satirizing that moment, right? That's the best word I can use, satirize, right? So, yeah. I point again at is that like I didn't like know about his debut till that source list came out, right? And then I checked out that album though, and I just fell in love with it like instantly though. The production, the lyrics, the tone of it, especially the tone of it, that's what really drew me in, right? And then I just became a fan like overnight, right? So from there I just sought out his other albums. I wouldn't say that I was the person who just kind of pick them up as soon as they came out. Like it would take a while. I'd hear a few songs on the radio, and once it click, it's like, all right, cool. I'll take the album, right? But I'll mention the others in a little while, right? But Ricardo, take it away. How did you get into Reasonable Doubt?
Yeah, same thing. I was familiar with the album. You see it, you keep hearing about it on BT, and it's like, oh, this Jay-Z album I never listened to, but it's his first album. Because you always think of when you think of Jay-Z album, for me, it was thinking of just what the album Hard Knock Life was on. you're thinking of, oh, it's these, and then Jigga Kelly not guilty, Hard Knock Life, right? That's that kind of stuff. And then for me it was, oh, okay, what happened? Oh, it had a little place in Sando that had a bunch of cheap albums, like literally like $5 TT, like for a bunch of old rap albums, and
Wow.
Reasonable
Like
Doubt.
original,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Yes, yeah, it was just a guy. Well, not original. It was a
Who
guy
do you
like a secondhand.
$5, you say, you know.
I could
Yeah,
have
I was
it's
not
just
a
gonna
buy
say
second.
that, like instead of spending
$5.
$20 on some mix CD from a pirate.
No.
I was
Some
not gonna
like
say.
it was this guy he just had it. Like I don't know why he gave it up so cheap or whatever. He just was giving it up and it's like, yeah, you sure this true? This correct? And it's like, yeah. And
I feel like
I just
stolen
bought it.
goods. That had to
Probably.
be live
That's
Hey, for
probably
all we know, it's
That
probably
man
that.
had to be on drugs.
right.
I
No,
think
but
that
it was
man was
like in a
on
little store.
drugs.
It was a place. It wasn't like a guy. It was like a place. Oh well. That's when I got access to the album for the first time. I was like, oh, okay, this is like an amazing album. Oh. Yeah, so that's my first exposure to that. So then this was in 2000, I think,
Right.
around that time. So it's like, all right. And then Blueprint came out after. Yeah,
Mhm.
after. Well, that to me was like a goddamn amazing classic album.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Micwise, how did you get into Reasonable Doubt?
Well, it's just an album I kept hearing about, throughout all the years because when I started listening to hip hop, obviously Jay was consistent, dropping every year, album every year, bunch of singles. He on this movie soundtrack, he featured here, there, everywhere. But you
Yeah.
always keep hearing about this first album that didn't sell as well as the other albums, but is arguably the best album. It's a classic album. Obviously they're talking about Reasonable Doubt. So eventually, I think, though I think you could correct me on this, and I get my first copy of Reasonable Doubt through you
Yeah.
in the studio with
Yeah, when I bring you bring
Profess.
it. Well, when I bring you the original this year.
Yeah, he bring a original copy of Reasonable Doubt in his studio, and we had no money at the time, so I just ripped the CD and took it. Cause that's what we
Everybody
was
rep
on.
the
We
CD.
wasn't.
Yeah,
Everybody
Everybody
rep
cigarette,
the
ripped the
cigarette was
CD.
eating, yeah.
Yep.
Because we was now out of school and had no jobs, and the little bit of money we had was going to a drum. So, um, obviously went and listened to it, and then because I heard songs from it before. I know Can't Knock the Hustle, Feeling It, Dead Presidents. But when you listen to the album as a whole, I wish I didn't hear those songs before. I would have liked to
Right,
hear them
right.
and just all at one time now. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh, I forgot to mention too, Rhapsody the Basement also used to have like these flashback Fridays. And that's when you used to
Yeah,
drop
yeah.
these videos from the 90s. And that's where I saw Can't Knock the Hustle and Feeling It, the music videos for the first time.
Right.
Right.
BT used to help me a lot. You see those little flashback joint things they used to have randomly. I
Right.
Yeah.
learned a lot about 90s stuff from before my time through that.
Me too, boy. Yeah.
A lot, a lot. You wouldn't believe that. That make me sort out. Um, that made me seek out like a whole lot of different artists who I
Illmatic.
wouldn't have been exposed. Yeah,
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah,
all that.
Yeah.
Illmatic.
Yeah.
That's where we saw
36
Idiot Hard to
chambers,
Tell.
all that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Idiot Hard to
You have to
Tell.
tell.
That's where we saw Cream for the first time. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
as flashback joints. So yeah, I fell in love with the album. I saw that the hype was real, and yeah, still one of my favorite albums. Period to this day.
All right. And before we get to the blueprint now, Doughboy, how do you get into Reasonable Doubt?
Well, as you see, I was a source reader, so I will always have a source around, and source did put out the list of all the classic albums, all five Mike albums, and I was a big Jay-Z fan from Hard Knock Life. So when I see Reasonable Doubt on it, because this was like I want to say 2002, I already heard Blueprint, so I like Reasonable Doubt. I thought Jay-Z first album was Volume One. What is this?
Right.
So like okay, um, so me and Mike know the spot that we do to go and buy CDs from. When I leave school, I came to San and I bought the CD and like okay, let me take this scene. and that just I had that spinning in my CD player for about, I don't lie, I played that like back to back 3 times, just vibing because it was, you know how music was in 2002. It was it was crunk and stuff, and it just had, the album had this layback mood, and you hearing like Jay-Z, we how he do some put stuff together and stuff. Just like, wow, this man was this bad, and nobody had really check out this album. So that's how I got the album Show the Source, and then, well, sharing is caring. When we start the first studio, yeah, when we start the first studio, I'm Upper Records. I lose to Kai CDs down there. Just anything that I had at the time that them never hear, I lose Kai. And that's how MICWISE and Professor get.
All right, nice. All
Yeah.
right, so jumping into the blueprint now, right? So, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life came, blew up. Volume 3, Life at Times of Sean Carter was big as well, too. Same thing for Dynasty, Rock La Familia. And then the blueprint dropped, right? So, for me, I guess for all of us, the moment was when that music video. I can't remember if I actually saw when it debuted on 106 and Park. I would love to see that I did. But, when the video for Izzo Hover dropped, though, that one I was like, oh, okay, J back though. All right, you know me. And this was me like not even knowing who Kanye West was at the time, right? Even though there was Dynasty Rock La Familia, right? But you just hearing Just Blaze and Swiss Beats, you just hear those names a lot now. We didn't really hear about Kanye that much, even though he was
And Jay-Z didn't
on
even know who
Dynasty.
Kanye was at that time.
Kanye was a sleeper cell, yeah. Kanye was a sleeper cell.
Yeah, he was small, yeah.
Yeah, so hearing that beat though, and learning later on, oh, it's from a Jackson 5 sample. It's like, what? Okay. So yeah, that was big, right? What else? Girls. I'll talk about that in a bit. Was big. Jigga.
Michael Jackson sample again.
Yes. Right. So Jigga, that actually, I actually heard that on like one of those mix CDs that I mentioned earlier.
That
$20
bootleg
or
joint.
$20. Yeah, from some pirate. You know what I mean? And that wasn't on radio. It
Yeah.
wasn't on radio, right? And then the last one was Song Cry, which I'll also talk about as well, right? But yeah, I mean, when I jumped into the album at long last, though, I was really impressed by the production and just Jay-Z himself, though, and just how he was just able to bring diversity in it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just hustling, making more money, that. There was a lot of like stuff going on lyrically and production wise, right? And just like in preparation for this review here, I actually recapped it. I was like, wow, like I forgot, read all these little things that were there, and I just amazed at how much it stands out, right? So from there, I was just like, all right, well, let's see what Jay-Z have next, right? There was Blueprint 2, Gift and the Curse, which was the album that I really, really wanted to like, though, but
that album is booty. Sorry, Jay-Z.
No, it's just a lot of filler, Dread.
It's watered
It
double
is
album
a good
but
album. Or let's
a lot of filler.
stop with the Blueprint 2 slander. Blueprint 2
If they could,
good.
if they did turn that album into one album, take off.
Right. But that's
cut it down to 12 tracks.
No, that's what he did. They did that. It has something called the Blueprint 2.1.
Yeah, 2.1.
Yeah, they did that. And it is effectively all the tracks I like was on the Blueprint 2.1 with a couple others that they could have switched around. But for the most part,
it had tracks on that you didn't need, like the Earth, Wind and Fire with Chris and Nifan thing. Like,
oh yeah.
You don't need
I love that song. I don't know what's on it.
It have tracks.
I mean,
it was trying a little too hard to stay true to like the original song.
Yeah,
like all right, we had to do the sound, we had to do the chorus again. Like oh gosh, we know where the beat come from. Come on.
My favorite wavy track on that whole album is the Poppin' Tags with Outkast.
Which was also praised by Kanye, yeah. But no, like I mean, there was songs that I remember. Like I remember Hovey Baby because of the Just Blaze beat. I dug the Watcher too. O3, Bonnie and Clyde was all over the place.
Yeah.
Could not escape that song.
The opening track with the Biggie verse.
Oh yeah, A Dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
That dope. Another song that did need to be recorded.
Some way.
Ooh, that was track with Beans is nasty, man.
Yes.
And Scarface, that real man.
Oh yes, that is one of my favorites. Somehow, some way, love that song. I love that beat, right? Like I say,
another track that didn't need to be recorded for that album was with Sean Paul. No,
Yeah, that was wild.
that was
Yeah,
not.
I forgot about. Oh god. Anyway, oh yes, like I said before, O3 Bonnie and Clyde was big, and I think this was like the first time that you saw Jay-Z and Beyonce like do a collab, and that was like a big deal. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, like this serious now. Excuse Me, Miss was a song that I used to like to listen to,
Which
but
album? Which album had Change Clothes on it?
that
Like
that
Black
Black
Album.
Album.
is yeah,
Oh, that
Black
Black
Album,
Album.
which
Sorry.
I'm gonna get into.
Right.
Right? But yeah, be Excuse Me, Miss, that was dope as well too. But it's not a song that I've revisited in like a long,
No,
long while. But
it's a cool song.
yeah,
Pharrell
yeah,
really do some magic on that. That's a cool
That
song.
was
yeah,
a good song. That was
yeah.
a
But
good song.
back then though, that song was all over the place, like
Yeah.
106 Park, all that. It was all over, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so speaking of Black Album now, so yeah, Black Album come out, and I remember how everybody was like, oh my god, final album from GC. So
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
didn't waste any time.
Big
I saw
old
that
lie.
out.
Big old
Jordan,
lie.
Jordan bullshit.
Yeah, and that is another classic in my opinion, though. And but
Yeah, that's
the
his
thing is,
third
it's how
classic.
it's how we all went in. Like, boy, this is the last time we hear in G Tread.
Yeah.
Like, you hear what you see, and what more can I say? Like, the man done, boy. Like, he done.
Yeah, that's what is mother, sister, father, brother? Was he sample?
For that song, what more can I say?
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it quickly.
Yeah. Mother,
It
sister,
was the
father, brother.
it was the Gladiator sample to the beginning.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that one we know.
Right. Yeah.
No,
Russell Crowe, right.
something for nothing from
Right.
MF.
Mother, sister, father.
Mother, father,
Hmm.
sister, brother. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that final verse though, and why I'm bringing this up too is that I didn't even know this till like while I was just doing my little research basically for the Reasonable Doubt album. Talib Kweli actually has like a list of like his favorite verses of all time, 25, right? And the
Yeah.
final verse for What More Can I Say is up there.
Yeah.
And I like, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I can't
Especially when it
disagree.
ends with fuck this. And drop the mic sorry, drop the headphones and walk out. I love that. That's so powerful.
He and for the one he get name dropping on the same album.
Oh,
It's Skill Soul, Truth Be Told. And
yeah.
probably be lyrically Talib Kweli.
Quality. Yeah, no,
If I was
no.
Kweli, I put in that number
That
one.
was
If
my
I was
number one.
Kweli.
Yeah, that was number one.
Yeah.
You name drop me, I put in that too.
Yeah. He also have. Well, funny enough, he also have the final verse to Well, sorry, he have Eminem's verse on Renegade, and he have Jay-Z verse on Regrets. The final verse on Regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not that oh gosh, let me just find the name of the song quickly. Moment of Clarity.
Right.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
could have mentioned that. But anyway, right? Change Clothes, I remember how big of a song that was. Could that beat, that piano beat, that ding ding bing bing. That was an earworm, right? Dirt Off His Shoulder, that was huge.
Yeah.
Like just ridiculously huge. Timbaland just outdid himself with that. 99 Problems. Love that song. Rick Rubin came in, shut that down. I always remember too, like when
And
the
the
video
video
came out.
was mad too.
Yeah, the video
Yeah, I remember when the
was
video came out and
Mad.
people were like, "Oh my god, you have a scene with Jay-Z getting shot and riddled with bullets." I remember, like, fun fact, right? So actually a point in time where they used to have like a video disclaimer with Jay-Z talking about, "Hey, like this is what this scene is supposed to represent. We're not promoting violence here." Like literally, that was it. Like you had to tell people, "Look, you see me get
That
shot.
was funny.
That's not real."
that
I
was
know it.
gay. That
But
was
it's
That was
like,
real
that was
funny.
like.
anyhow.
That's how we see it, though. You know what I mean? But anyway, right? So, Black Album came, and he was all like, "Yeah, Jay-Z boy, Jay-Z boy." You know what I mean? And then the Jay-Z and R. Kelly albums came out afterwards. And of course, well, it's Collision Course with Linkin Park. I remember that being a big deal
Right.
as well. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, to be honest, right? But I dug
Yeah. It didn't mix so well.
a crossover thing, right? Yeah, but I think more people really gravitated to that because for me it was mostly the Linkin Park fans who like really vibe with that. No, the Jay-Z fans were like,
Yeah.
well, all right. Kingdom Come
Yeah, that's true.
came. Yeah, Kingdom Come came in 2006, and that was one that I was real excited for. I remember like copping
Yeah,
that
it
like
was.
when it first came out, but it's like
I knew that album was gonna be ass. I knew that album was going to be
It
ass.
was. It had tracks I like. I like Black Republican. Black Republican was on that.
no,
Yeah.
no. Black Republican
Nah, that
was
was
on
on the Nas
Hip Hop Is Dead.
album.
Oh, no,
Which,
Zali
From
Nasi
that,
yeah,
album.
which
Okay.
I love.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah,
album.
okay.
I
With
know a
that.
lot of people don't, but I love that Nas album. Yeah. But Kingdom Come had Show Me What You Got, which I dug.
Right.
That was a Just Blaze
That
beat.
beach chair was okay.
Yeah.
Nah,
That
Kingdom Come was a good album. Like when I
Sure.
revisited later on, it was good. It just wasn't Black Album. It wasn't American Gangster, but it was good. It have a
yeah,
couple of whack songs though. But other than
that's true.
that, it
That's
was
true.
good. It's good. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Speaking of American Gangster, that to me was like another classic in my opinion.
Yeah.
And of course, it's
Great album.
writing
Yeah.
off the Ridley Scott movie of the same name. But I just love the fact that it was a concept album. It was just kind of him
Yeah. Great.
going back to the hustler story. Like, yeah, I rise to the power, and you see how he falls from grace, literally, right? But there was just so much great songs in that. Like, I love Hello Brooklyn 2.0 with Lil Wayne. I love Rock Boys. I
Yeah.
love I Know. You know what I
Love
mean?
that
I
album. Love
love
the
ignorant
video.
shit. Yes, yeah. I
No
love
Hook,
yeah, No Hook
Ignorant
was dope.
Shit. Yeah.
Ignorant Shit with Beanie Siegel. Love that. Fallen. Love that.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, bonafide classic there in my
That whole
opinion.
album had that whole album.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I find like I don't know, like I find it doesn't come up as far as like great Jeezy albums, but I think it is one that people should kind of go back to and check out now. You know what I mean? So
Is it his
just to wrap,
top five? Tell me.
I agree, totally agree. And just to wrap things up now, just to close of the 2000s, there was the Blueprint Tree, right, which came
Right.
out in 2009. I remember how big of a deal that was too, but you know, like I had a lot of big hits. So don't get me wrong, I would say like as far as like commercial hits go, there was a lot. Like there was DOA, Data Auto Tune. Like
Right.
we love that No ID,
Yeah.
love that beat, right? Run This Town was a big deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
That hook
Brooklyn
was
Go Hard.
fire.
Wasn't that?
No, that
Mm,
was on
But it
the
was
what was the
around the
soundtrack.
same time.
yeah, that
Okay.
was
Yeah, it was on the soundtrack to Notorious, which also came out in 2009. A show I still defend, even though the guy don't look like Biggie, but I defend that show, right? Whatever. Empire State of Mind, dope
Right.
as well. Alicia Keys, that chorus, you love that. On to the next one, Swiss Beats, just wow. Wow, I just love that beat so much, right? And one thing quickly, I just love how the video kind of goes against the, oh, jeez, he's with the Illuminati, you know what I mean?
Right.
Naysayers, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But showing
Yeah.
this, all these random imagery that's supposed to look dark and it's supposed to get them all freaked out, like, oh, what that's supposed to mean?
Mhm.
What that's
Right.
supposed to
Mason shit.
mean? I love that. I
Yeah,
love
just
that.
poking fun at this shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conspiracy. Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Young Forever. I know some people like it because of the hook,
Horrible song.
but I don't know. And then as
Horrible
a
song.
closer,
What a money barrel song.
no. Terrible way to end the album, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
but last thing I'll say, and then we'll just get your thoughts on the Blueprint and up to Blueprint 3. I remember like real people was like trying to put this up like, oh, album of the year for 2009. For me, it was like I could see why Dread, but sorry, Rico and Only Bill for Cuba Links Part 2,
Q1
man.
Links 2. Yep.
Best album of
Yep.
2009. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, G, sorry,
Yeah.
G.
Fully
Sorry.
agree. Fully agree.
But no lie though, Blueprint 3 had a lot of slaps in it though, but still admittedly it's not an album that I've gone back to.
It's a hit maker album.
Um, well, you see the album, I'm a pause raised thinking about that Jihad versus Ghostface, do yes?
Yes, boy.
Yeah.
That was insane. Yeah, but yeah, so that was the Blueprint trilogy and just little albums in between, right? Sorry, big albums in between. So yeah, Ricardo, how you got into Blueprint and just his discography up to Blueprint 3?
So, rumor had it. The Blueprint Classic couldn't have been stopped by Bin Laden.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9/11. So that day, right? I was saying, okay, I'm gonna buy Jeezy's new album. And
Oh
I
wow,
decided
okay.
I decided to skip school that day. Right? Because like, yeah, I don't go to school today. I gotta just stay over and listen to this album. And then I wake up and see 9/11 going on. Like, hey, what the hell is all of this? Is all of this noise and whatever it is. And then I went and buy Jeezy album and listened to it. And it was amazing. I didn't think about that bullshit until
Wow.
so what happened is that the I didn't know like the buildings would have fallen. Like I didn't think that would have happened. So I was like, oh, it just planes crashing it, and all right, they're gonna repair the building. Like it's big, it's a big deal, but it's not like the biggest deal ever. So I was out of the house.
At that time,
Yeah,
for a school child, it was not a big deal.
it was not a big deal,
True,
right?
true.
Right. And I was like, I was out of the house for the whole day. I went to the mall. It's a little small store in the mall. I forget the name of the place, but it's still
First
there.
priority.
No, not for priorities. It's like it's like it is sell games and it's in the corner at the bottom. It right by the one of the front entrances. Oh gosh, what's the man name? Off the wall.
Oh
That-
God, but that rubber, but he the rip people off.
Yeah, yeah. But,
Well, I hope he's
Whatever.
not listening to this.
point
this
is,
show.
point is, he just get shit quick, and he had the Blueprint one. I remember like asking him, "Hey, you're gonna get Jay-Z new album?" He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get it. You're gonna have it on the day somehow." Like, all right, bro, whatever. It costs what 120 TT, right? The money for that. Went buy it, listened to it, and was amazed by this album. Track, I mean, the Ruler's Back. Ruler's Back alone is such a pop for me. There's all
them
these great
horns, babe.
yeah,
The
and there's all these great lyrics. You gotta drop a meal, when you gotta cop something, you gotta cop for real. I mean, and it's like, it's like, oh, I think he talk about you gotta drop a million. It's like, no, didn't he drop a mill back? Like,
Yeah,
like,
drop a mill before they do the album.
exactly. It's like, we're like, what's going on here? And there's track, and then they do the Nas diss. I was like, shit, you know, that's when the Nas diss happened. I was like, wow,
yeah,
that's hard.
over, yeah.
It's a hit. And it's like track after track, every track. We call it Ola Ovito. That opening that little bass guitar in the beginning, dum dum.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Listen, and then Kanye come hard, like real hard, like just 8 and 9. Them two tracks alone, just hard to the
Jay-Z
city.
went in there with Big Nanny thing and just take like all Kanye bad beats. They like, this is my shit.
That was supposed to be for other people.
Yeah, that's what Suspect up. He do a J-Lo special, right? That basically what it was, is that it was just every track I was amazed by beat wise. Like I couldn't believe that it had such great tracks. I mean, Heart of the City and No Love alone is like classic. And then it had all the extra track, All I Need and Song Cry. Is like, all right, Song Cry, great. Yeah, and eventually released that, right? And I was like, everything just like it's one of the rare examples where I do skip tracks. And I just find myself just listening to the whole thing. And it's like truly amazing album. And then I come home later and it's like, oh shit, the buildings fall down. Wow, serious thing.
Yeah.
But
Like
yeah,
I say,
that's how I
one good
remember.
thing that happened on that day. One good thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I didn't give a shit. I was 16 at the time. Kids.
Right.
Like, it's bullshit on scared.
So just before we get to Mike's introduction to Blueprint, right? So just quick run through with Blueprint 2, Black Album, Kingdom Come, American Gangster, and Blueprint 3.
Black Album, right. So when I heard he was retiring, I was immediately dismissive of that shit. Immediately dismissive. Like, yeah, you're not retiring. That is some Jordan bullshit because you're trying to do the Jordan thing. Like, I swear I hear lyrics sometime where you say something with Jordan 4-5.
Come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5.
Wearing the 4-5, right? But that is in the album. I'm like, all right, well, he coming back. So whatever. Absolutely love this album as well. What I gonna say, boy? Just Kanye does come real hard.
Encore, boy.
Favorite track. Yeah, Encore. Encore is like a goddamn classic.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
Just everything about that time when they had the crowd, railing up. I think the ending, I was like,
the ending, boy, just give me chills every time I hear it.
That's like, it's just amazing. Yeah, that's another true classic. That was an album that just take up my whole summer. We had this weird convoluted device in the past called a Discman. That was a thing, kids.
Yeah, I had one of those too.
Yeah, it's one of these very strange devices. Anyway, it played a CD and it was in my CD the entire summer. I did not change a thing. I had that, and then the following summer I had what do you call it? Diplomat album, right? That's it.
Yes. Right. What about Blueprint 2? If you have anything to say about Blueprint 2.
I brought Blueprint 2. We kind of mentioned it already. I don't hate this album. It have a lot of great tracks on it, but yeah, it just got I was entering UE that year, and that was the whole thing about it. It was like I remember a friend of mine who was a huge Jay-Z fan in on Hall. He was like, yeah, I like this album, but like it should have just cut out tracks. And like, yeah, right. And we just make a big connection with Jay-Z fandom from that. That's the big problem with the album. It's that it just have too much filler for the most part. Stuff that could have get cut. Jay-Z just kind of had to push the whole idea. Well, I need to put out a double album kind of thing. That's what it felt like. So that's about it. What else?
All right, Kingdom Come, American Gangster, and Blueprint 3.
So American Gangster, I did not buy. Just only like the song itself, and I kind of regret not buying it. It's pretty awesome for what it is. Then this thing, Kingdom Come. bought it way later. Cause I remember the video he had with us the video where they racing in car. It's
Yeah,
like
that
so,
show me what
Show
you
me
got.
what you got.
yeah, I wasn't feeling it, and I was just in a weird space music wise. Like I was like, kind of trying to grow to Jeezy. Like back then, you're trying to get eclectic, and I wasn't. I went to U, so I get all woke and shit now. So like,
Yeah.
so that was there for that, and I was like, I remember getting the album way later and just liking it a lot, not loving it, but just liking it a lot. But I was like, yeah, this is a big disappointment. And again, it was Jordan is 4 or 5 moments, when he was wearing the 4 or 5, to be honest, right? That's the working comparison. It's there. I was underwhelmed with it, to be honest. Wells.
Right. And Blueprint 3.
Huge disappointment as an album. But the hits and the tracks that came out was pretty good for what it was. But generally, I don't think I listened to it more than once, like, to be honest. It's only the Alicia Keys track that I remember and think about. That's about it. Everything else was like, okay. Compared to part one, again, to borrow from a current artist who's going through this right now, I miss the old Kanye. Same thing with that Jeezy. I was like, yeah, I can't see myself listening to that anymore. I mean, obviously Jeezy went on to still do amazing shit, but like that album, I don't remember, it was a big, big bad closeout for such a great series of albums. But whatever.
Right. So Micwise, how you got into Blueprint and just Jay-Z's discography up to Blueprint 3?
Well, yeah, I remember Jay coming out with H to the Izzo.
Yeah.
I saw him perform it, premiere it on the BET Awards as like a new. Just did like a first verse and hook. Sounded amazing. Think he performed it at one of those MTV Awards when he came out in the Bulls jersey. So when I heard it there, I was like, all right, this shit's special. Video came out, ting, ting, ting. On the day 9/11, I wasn't even aware that the album was coming out. I knew he had the Blueprint coming out at some time. I didn't know it was that day. So obviously 9/11 happened and heard about it in school, and you reach home and it's like, oh, we're just gonna watch this on CNN all day. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Eventually I got the album. I bought it from a pirate
Right.
sometime later on. I think by the time I got it, I think Girls was already a single.
Right.
So when I heard it, I was like, that should set a new standard for albums for me. Because I would say that is the first classic album I heard now. Because I heard classics that came out before the Blueprint retroactively. So after
Right.
that time, but the first classic album I ever heard was the Blueprint, and like that set a new standard for me in terms of what an album is expected to be, basically. As a listener, and then later on, obviously as a artist. So at that time, like if I had to save up money and buy album original, I'll buy it then. If I get it pirate, I buy it pirate, and I'm not even gonna bother to get it original. I broke that rule because I was like, nah, I need to actually buy this shit original. This shit too special. So eventually later down the road I got the album original. Yeah, it holds up to this day. One of the best albums of all time in my book. Yeah, so that's definitely a 5 mic album
Right.
in my view. Yeah.
All right. So Blueprint 2, Black Album. Well, this Blueprint 2 up to
Yeah. Yeah,
Blueprint 3.
Blueprint
Let's
3.
just talk to
Yeah.
those quickly.
Well, yeah, as you know, I'm a staunch Blueprint 2 defender.
Yeah.
I find people just complain about the filler too much. I just skip what I want to skip and listen to what I want to listen to, because the high points on that album, they're so high that I can't complain about the lows.
Right.
You understand? It's like I rather the Blueprint 2 exists with its flaws than doesn't exist at all.
Right.
Because if it doesn't exist at all, I don't get somehow, some way. I don't get Hoovy Baby. Like all the great tracks on it. So that's like my approach to that album. Right? Black Album, classic. I knew the date that was coming out. I saved up money to buy it on the day. I got it on the day. Went home from school. put it in the CD player, sat down, and I just listened to the album straight through in my school uniform, like 2 times over. Like I couldn't move, change my clothes, nothing. I was just like, yeah, this shit is. Immediately when I heard it, I was like trying to compare it with the Blueprint because they're similar in terms of tone and they're similar in terms of how great they were. So immediately I was like trying to see, okay, which one better? Which one better? This is all before I heard Reasonable Doubt, by the way. Kingdom Come. When I heard that, I was a little disappointed. In retrospect, it is a good album. Lots of high points on it. It just didn't compare to the Black Album, and I think everybody wanted to hear another classic Jay-Z album. You know, seeing that he was coming back after what 3 year absence.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I never. You know why I didn't buy that retirement thing? Because he was still doing features.
Right.
He was
Yes,
still
yes,
active.
yes.
Like he jumping on this person's song and this, and then you're doing a whole the R. Kelly unfinished business. Is like,
Right.
oh, so you're just still in the game then?
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
you're not
it's
gonna
all like,
be.
sorry, it's just like I noticed like the last person who do this. Sorry, we bringing him up. Mike is Logic Dread. You know what I mean? Oh,
Oh
this
God,
is
I
my
got
last
on, I
album
got,
and
I
I'm
got, I got.
done. And
Logic.
now, oh, here's my mixtape. And then the
Yeah,
mixtape
yeah,
he said, oh, you don't actually have one more album for this damn it. So I mean, like, come on, make up your mind, Dread. You know what I mean? So it's like you always
yeah,
think when they're retired, they're done with music, but you're still hearing them on collabs. You're like, well, you're
yeah. They're
done.
not doing
Like, come
done.
on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we could
Differences in
also
this
mention. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
differences in this case. I was glad for Jay to come back.
Right.
Logic.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, the thing also I could mention is the JC R. Kelly collabo, which was kind of weird, and like it is an interesting album,
Yeah.
for what it was, but yeah, for the most part, it's like in retrospect, it's like yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
I
weird.
remember
But
they real push singles from it, boy. Like, well,
yeah,
sorry, the singles they real push that. They push Big Chips. They push
yeah,
Best of Both Worlds. I
right.
think the
That
Fiesta
one I can
remix
see.
was
Nah,
in
that
one of
wasn't
them.
on that. That wasn't on
Okay,
That
that.
was
That
okay,
it.
was
okay.
on R. Kelly album.
Right, right. I remember.
Um,
Yeah, that video was sorry. Yeah, the video, the the BT Uncut video for one thing, but that song, boy, they push that, boy. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah. That I will say, like people is debate about was Jay Z worst album or if Jay Z have any whack albums. To me, Jay Z doesn't have a whack solo album, but
Right.
the only whack project that Jay has attached himself to is the Unfinished Business album. That album to me
Right.
is
Yeah.
objectively whack.
Yeah.
Like
if
it's
I'm gonna
nothing.
go with a gangster
Yeah.
girl, all them shit
Yeah.
fucking songs.
I remember that.
That's just not a good album. So moving on, what was the next thing? After Kingdom Come, American Gangster, great album. I
Yeah.
saw how he was talking about that in interviews, real hyping it up. He was like he going back to Reasonable Doubt level rapping. I was like, what? So I just avoided all the singles and all the tracks that was leaking on the internet. I was like, nah, I want to hear this shit from top to bottom. Well, I heard Blue Magic. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
But
Right. Right.
my brethren, Karen, he checked me because he's a big Jay-Z fan too. He checked me and we just sit on by me playing the album. We played that like 3 times back to back to back. Yeah, so I consider that another classic album. And then Blueprint 3, I'm not mad at it, even though it was a lot of commercial songs. I still feel like, yeah, they were commercial songs, but they were good commercial songs for the
Right.
most part. So like the Empire State of Mind, As Real as It Gets, on to the next one. Reminder. I like those songs. So Ambitious with Ian Pharrell. Like they more or less were very good songs. There are a couple of songs I don't like, but all in all, like I wasn't too mad at the album. But the album that really spoke to me in 2009 was Cuban Links 2, anyway. But I
Ah,
wasn't too
yes,
mad at
yes,
the
yes.
Mm-mm.
yeah, I wasn't too mad at the J album like how some people were. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's basically my thoughts on J up until that point.
All right. So, Doughboy, how you got into the Blueprint and Jeezy's albums up to Blueprint 3?
All right. Apparently, like, I the only one that get into the Blueprint. before the release date, the album did leak, and we had a
Right.
copy in school.
Yeah. Okay.
we had a copy in school. That was like a week before the drop. We had a copy, and that was passed around like a slow girl with loose morals with my squad. We
Right.
just passed our album all over. We just and then just copying it. So I had it, and then like 9/11 come around. I know the album dropping. I like, yo, had to go stand and buy this album. Ting. Jump in a maxi to leave Princeton to go to San Fernando. And they are announcing on the news that the World Trade Center has fall. I like,
Okay.
where, what the fuck this come from? Where this come from?
No, right.
Like we in war got happened. What going on here? So like, you talking in this maxi for this whole, I must say about 20-minute drive to Sando, and all I can't hear the music. All I had to hear about is this thing. Like, okay, I bought the album, and my mind frame, I jump in a car and come straight over my mind frame. Well, if they go into Bum Trinidad, I'm gonna get that with listening this dope ass album.
Word.
I just had to make sure I play it one more time, original out the case. If the bum shit, at least I know I live a full life. And that was with me and the Blueprint. Blueprint 2. At a same thing, I was still going to school. I had a partner in school that he used to get like the weirdest dope albums. He who put me onto clips and stuff. So he had Blueprint 2 original, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna hit on to borrow it. He's like, no, Jay-Z. Like, okay, I have some albums. Which albums you want to borrow for this now? And the dude choose BG, other BG album, Chopper City in the Ghetto.
Wow.
And
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that in
yeah,
ages, but
he choose BG, Chopper City in the Ghetto, and
As a
what an
baller block,
album,
it's still fire for me.
oh yeah, I
a
forgot about
Dead
that.
Prez, and the Dead Prez,
Or Let's Get Free.
no, the second one.
Oh, okay. Only, only
Yeah.
listen to the debuts. Wow, shit.
So like that was the trade-off. Like, okay, you could borrow these, I will borrow your shit. So come home, bumping it, and I'm like, why Sean Paul on this fucking album? Why Lenny Kravitz on this fucking album?
That's a good
What
track.
What is
The
going
hook,
on here?
alright.
Yeah, exactly.
What is going on here? Jay-Z, what is this? Are you trying to be a pop star? Are you trying to heal and tour in Jamaica somewhere? What is the point of this? And then it had like tracks that was viable, as I say, popping tags.
Yeah.
Some people hate. Um, what
I
else?
think you're another fan of somehow, some way.
Yeah, somehow, some way. It had other tracks that my nigga, please, boom. Yeah, that was like,
Yeah, which by the way was on the. I'll never forget this. The soundtrack to Cradle to the Grave, though.
yeah,
The lap dance scene that oh gosh, Gabriel Union was doing. Yeah, it was that
yeah.
song. Yeah.
So like again, if they did just take some songs and put it into one, that would have been a good album. But too much fillers, right? Black Album. When it came out, I got red eye. Couldn't go and copy it the same day. I sent my little homie that was just around. He was like 2 years younger than me. I gave him the money and like, dog, cop this album. You could come by me and listen to you. Just if your mother say you get red eye, fuck that, you'll see him from school. Just go and cop it and come back by me. And that's what he did. He went to school, cop it, and come home by me. And we just we blast the album for the day. Then like when I done bop it by me, when people coming from school went up by he and started bopping it. So the album get real way by me.
He
That
get red eye.
no, he didn't get red eye, fortunately.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
that's good.
He didn't get red eye, but like that album, um, is one of Jay-Z best put together album. Um, now as into engineering and stuff, Guru is a genius at what he does.
Yeah.
And he can make anything sound polish.
Mm.
Right.
He on that level. Guru was in charge of that whole, mixing that whole album, and the album is sonically pleasing. My only problem with the album was the how Jay-Z hit we a bait and switch. In the sense that how when somebody say the last album, you're expecting like, yeah, no holds bar, freaking,
Yeah.
you're going ass out, anything and everything. It was a good album, but it wasn't like that one could have called bluff funny shit. It wasn't the last album. Then all them other miscellaneous albums, the Unplug, the Lincoln Park, the Kean Kells. I could just tie that up in a neat bow and say, I do not want boots. Um, Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
I fortunately, unlike the rest of you, I never listened to the album.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he never
Oh wait,
listened to the album.
let me guess. You just heard Show Me What You Got and Lost
I'd
Ones. I was
say,
like, no.
yeah, this is not for me. I listened to Show Me What You got, and I was like, this is not for me. This is not Jay-Z. This is not Jay-Z that I used to. And no. And that was it. America Gangster or Blue Magic Court.
Yeah.
And I see the Blue Magic video and I hear what he rapping about. I'm like, see this? Jay-Z could tell some dope stories. I need to get this album. And funny enough, I didn't get the album that everybody have. I get the acapella.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, I have the whole album just acapellas alone. I
Mm.
think Professor is the only person that I get that. So I don't have the album with the beats to show me off or anything. I just have the acapella. And Jay-Z spit, dog. I'll advise anybody get the album acapella. And then Blueprint 3, same thing with Kingdom Come with me. I never listened to the whole album. Again, as I hear on to the next one, I was like, Jay-Z, please stop it.
Oh gosh, understand where you're coming from, Dred, but is Swiss just like, I don't know, like there was like a period like in the late 2000s where Swiss was just doing like these sort of grandiose beats, and it was just something
No,
about
I'm not saying
you know?
me about it, no, but
Okay.
the way how it come across now, like it has songs them that I was vibing and stuff, but when I hear on to the next one, I'm like, shit, they know you, they TI dog.
Oh
Right.
shit.
Like what the hell is this? So like the album is kind of good from what I hear, because as I tell people, I want to go into it now with fresh airs, but like me and Kingdom Come, I never gave the whole album a full listen because I just that. Kingdom Come could never get a full listen from me. I don't want that shit no way around me though.
And then even out of curiosity. I understand. Yeah.
I like smoking crack. No.
All right. I got you.